Welcome back to Valiant Effort. I'm Nick.
I'm Josh.
I'm Ted.
And today we're driving a 2018 Ford Edge Titanium.
Performance.
Or the lack thereof.
So I would have to agree with the latter. And so we we did test the 20 to 60, which is abysmal compared to even a minivan. So I don't know what else to say.
It's just bad.
It's really bad.
It's really slow.
I mean, but it's weird because it doesn't feel as slow as it actually is. Like, I think, driving it normally, it's okay.
I wonder if that's because it's a turbocharged engine.
I don't know. I almost think that it's one of those situations where the transmission took so long to downshift and register what you wanted that's what made it so slow. But rolling from a stop sign, it's going to be a little quicker.
Yeah.
But that's not, I think the point of the 20 to 60 is to test in a real scenario like what the actual performance is.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Because 0 to 60 is great, but
how often do you do that?
Right.
Yeah. No. Who's launching their Ford Edge Titanium?
Oh yeah. So I mean, there's not a lot to say about the acceleration. I mean, it's fine. I think that the throttle modulation is actually very impressive, especially for what this car is.
We liked,
Yeah, we all like that. It's just easy to kind of know what you're doing. It doesn't kick you at random points, and
right, like 50% is 50%.
Right.
There's no,
and really with both the pedals, it's like
right.
Both brake and throttle are very you get in and you know exactly what to do.
Yeah,
right.
Brakes are super, super easy to modulate. I mean, we were all kind of impressed by it, honestly, which there's not a lot of things to be impressed by in a Ford Edge, but the brakes, they're really good.
It's kind of funny, too, because we've been driving a lot of European cars, and these brakes are almost not better, but they're more suited for, I think, your average person.
Yeah.
Like, we didn't get in them and stop for the first time.
And throw our necks out.
Right, right. No one's heads ended up in their crotch. But one other thing that I really noticed, especially while not driving, is how unsettled it feels while you're accelerating. Like, it really feels loose, like from the back seat. Like drivetrain wise, I don't know. Do you feel what I mean?
It's like it has old mounts or something. It's just something's kind of off about it. Yeah, I know what you mean.
In terms of daily drivability, so honestly, I would say that this so far, compared to anything else we've driven, has the worst, and that's saying a lot because I hate the truck. I don't hate the truck. I like the truck. I hate it for daily driving, and I hate people who buy trucks because they want a truck but don't use a truck. So,
all right, easy.
I think this is the worst one because the steering is so bad.
And I think the thing that irritates me the most is that when I'm on the highway, I feel like any slight input can just put me off the road because it's very touchy and twitchy. At least that's my experience of it.
But it's not touchy and twitchy in a long corner or a long curve.
No.
Right. It's similar to the ridgeline.
Yeah.
It's very much in those fine, minute, small adjustments, the micro adjustments.
Yeah.
That it's just all over the road.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I know Teddy thinks it feels like there's a hatchback's, steering rack ratio in this, but I genuinely think it's just the electric steering is terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, if they fix the steering, or maybe the 21 is better. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe this car just needs an alignment. It does have 40,000 miles, but
but my steering feel I feel like is has more to do with the rack itself.
Yeah.
And like it does
Or the
track a little bit
electronic
to the
itself,
right.
yeah.
Right. Like obviously you take your hands off the wheel if it's not straight, it needs an alignment.
Right.
But
I think the feel and again, like we are reviewing a 2018. So if the 21's better, then that's awesome. And if we review a 21, maybe we'll really like it.
I'd probably really like it, especially for a daily driver.
While performance isn't really the goal of this car, it also isn't necessarily the best daily driver as a result of undesirably touchy steering and a bit of an unrefined ride. It did, however, have some redeeming qualities on the inside.
All right, so I really like these seats. I think that they're, you can't adjust them perfectly, but they're comfortable. There's lumbar support. They're squishy, so I like squishy seats.
I think you're just finicky with your seat. I think you can adjust them. You're just too picky.
Yeah. Back seat's pretty comfortable too, even for you. Got plenty of headroom.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine. It's nothing great. It's nothing bad. I don't know.
But adults can fit back there, and that's nice.
Yeah, oversized adults.
Yeah, because you are oversized. I really like that it's heated and cooled seats for the...
And it's heated in the rear.
Yeah, which is nice.
To me, that seems just like one of those features that should come standard on basically any non-entry level trim nowadays.
Yeah, at the very least in the front.
I think maybe on an SUV, on a sedan, it doesn't make sense because how often are people
I just mean
really...
the heated and cooled up front.
Oh, up front for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah,
Yeah. Although, so
My mom's Kia.
this is a slight
rear heated
tangent,
seats.
but in order to have ventilated seats, you do need perforated leather.
Yeah.
Oh.
Like you can't have Alcantara
because
or
you
like
need
a
air
Napa
to pass
leather.
through.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I look at cars more for the driver, not the passengers.
Yeah. I have to say, detail-wise, in here, I like the trim around the vents and all of your door handles, things like that. And Nick mentioned there's some piano black in here.
Yeah, it looks nice.
That looks nice. There's some weird accent pieces that you pointed out, like there's one-offs of material here and there.
Just on the dash.
That
area.
it's nice, but it's like why is it only there and
We'll
not
put it here and nowhere else.
and not in another place?
Yeah. But it's also like, I mean, it's Ford, so it's like there's, I mean, not that we don't care for Ford. It's just that I don't know, it's Ford.
It's a Ford interior, yeah.
And it's an upper trim, and so it's got some nice things. But that's about it,
I will say one of the things that I dislike very much about this, though, is the screen. I like its functionality. I don't like its placement. I think that it's way too angled forward.
Yeah.
And so the way the sun has been hitting it while we're driving it, and the glares you get, and the fact I want to see it.
Yeah.
I don't want it to be like,
Yeah, we've been in some cars that have a better positioning for that.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't think it'd be a reason to not buy the car, but especially given that it does have Sync 3, and I think Sync 3 is, I mean, just absolutely phenomenal. It's very, very straightforward. Like there's no hidden menus, and it's super easy to use, and the touchscreen itself is actually really nice. Very quick. There's no like
Laggy.
heat sensitive or you have to push it hard enough. It's not haptic. Like it seems like it's more like a phone screen.
Especially
it is, like I said, very usable.
Yeah, and it has
That's
Apple
what I like
CarPlay,
about that.
Android Auto.
Yep. Well, and we
So-
were just in a 2018 Ridgeline. This is a 2018, and this is way better than that. Like by far.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It does have the steering knob. It has a steering knob.
The steering knob.
It has the volume knob, but I generally use the volume control
On the steering wheel.
and I like the volume control on the steering wheel.
Nicely placed steering control.
Yeah.
And I think all of them on the steering wheel are actually very nicely placed. And you've got some dual function here. It has as many buttons on the steering wheel overall. It's got 23 total.
Really?
That's including the horn and the paddle shifters.
Wow.
Yeah, which are useless.
Yeah, the paddle shifters are useless.
God, it's terrible. I'm saying that.
But they're all in a good position to where they're not blocking out. Like, I don't feel like the buttons are in the way of anything.
No.
Well, don't you have two 4-way buttons with an OK in the center for each
Yep.
of your gauge cluster
Because you've got one on
screens?
each side of the gauge cluster screen, one to do all of your like driving dynamic stuff, your fuel gauge, tack, that sort of thing. The other one to do all of your entertainment system stuff.
which works pretty well.
Yes, they do. They're very nice. I also like that it gives you a little 4-way map on there that tells you these are the buttons you can press. Like, this is where to go next.
Like from this screen, correct?
From
right.
this screen, you can only go right.
Which helps a
or
lot
left.
because otherwise it's
From the
kind of
screen,
weird.
you can go left. From this one, you can go right. You can go up and down on the one you're currently on. Like, it's nifty. It's
Yeah.
a nice programming touch on those screens.
Yeah, and I actually really like the gauge cluster because it's unique.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not, I don't think it's ugly, and I think
Yeah.
it is functional. There's differing opinions, but
I just don't like it. I mean, I've always liked the blue gauges on Fords. I think the blue needles. I just think they look cool. The screens do work really well. I had no problem using them at all. I mean, like the tack to me just looks like a Need for Speed game from 20 years ago. But that's just, I don't know.
But that's also because you have the tack there. You can choose something else to
That's
have
true.
there, like
That's true, yeah. I mean, you don't really need
it's
it.
kind of useless.
tire
right?
pressure. You can put a digital speed readout there. You can
Oh,
put
that's actually pretty nice.
intelligent all-wheel drive there. You can put distance to empty. Like,
That's fair.
you
Yeah.
don't need to have the tack sitting there, which is
I think one thing that we all can agree is that the actual, like, button piece is very confusing.
Yeah. Well, not only are these confusing, but the ones up here for the moonroof are confusing.
see to
too.
me
It's just
that was fine for me. Like,
Yeah.
took me, oh cool. I like that there's a separate one,
Yeah.
separate layout for just the cover
yeah.
that goes all the way back at a very slow pace, but it's just such a long
It does
cover.
take forever to go
It's
back.
such a long
It's huge.
Yeah.
cover, yeah.
It's comically long. I don't know. But yeah, but Nick's right. I mean, these are just like they could have done it more simply. Like I don't know why you need a button for every single.
And it's 2018. Can we get nicer buttons?
Yeah, they're pretty crap looking.
It's kind of like it's kind of like using an ATM.
Yeah.
It's like those buttons.
It is. Or like early 2000s, like Nissan or something.
Yeah.
Oh, they're not that bad.
Or Honda. It's a weird it's a weird system right here and set up
Yeah.
with the buttons. Because I don't like there's all this weird, like, extra space above the seek and tune.
I like it.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
I don't think it looks bad. I just think its functionality is kind of iffy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to that point, I mean, it pairs well with the sound system. Like, the sound system is, you know,
Yeah, it's fine.
it's fine for what it is. It's a Ford sound
You're not
system.
gonna buy this car for the sound system,
No.
so like I honestly I don't think it's that great, but it's serviceable.
I don't
whatever.
know. Would you? Was there any cars you'd buy one for the sound system?
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
For you,
But I just
yeah.
mean I just think I've driven some cars from 10 years ago, 15 years ago that sound much better than this.
Yeah.
And I even tried to mess with the settings a little bit, but that I mean
Yeah, it is
most
what it
people
is.
don't care, so it doesn't really matter. 95 a day.
Oh, and
hour.
one other thing to note is the plenty of storage. If
Oh,
we
yeah.
can touch on that.
Oh yeah,
There's storage up above the screen. There's storage down below the screen that's very deep.
door pockets are nice.
There's storage underneath the radio, which Ted likes. He's a fan of
Yeah,
that.
yeah, and underneath, kind of in the middle. This is really deep.
Big
You've got
center
a-
console.
There's storage in the screen. I'm just kidding.
Oh, I was like, is it like a Chevy where it goes?
Disc
No,
storage.
no.
Disc storage in the
This
center.
just
You
That would've been
you can
cool.
store a CD in it.
Yeah.
yeah.
2018 still has a CD player.
Very cool.
This is nice. We got two regular USB ports.
And in the back, you have the 12 volt outlet.
You got two of them.
And no, you don't have two of them.
What's on the other side?
A 110.
Oh, really?
A
Like
regular
plug.
three prong plug. Yeah.
Well, I can finally blend smoothies in the back seat of my car.
Ooh, or heat up popcorn on a long drive.
Oh yeah.
Just don't burn it.
Oh, I also really like the. I think we all like the little small mirrors that Ford puts.
That is one thing that Ford they just do well.
Yeah.
They, like, someone said, let's put the tiny little mirrors in all of our Ford products. And it's like, sure, why not? You know?
The
Yeah.
way you said it. The one thing Ford does well generally.
Is add this tiny little ass mirror into the side of their
But
side
they
mirror.
do it on almost every car.
Yeah, they
Right.
did it
And it's
even
like
on the
it's
Fiesta.
not necessary on some of their cars.
No.
But it's just a nice little extra.
You know what? I think it's a
Feature.
lot more functional than you know the cars that have like the aspherical mirror,
Yeah.
where
Oh,
it's kind
yeah.
of like the random line, and all of a sudden,
Yeah, no, I don't like
it gives
that
it
at
a
all.
funny
Yeah.
bowl. But this, it doesn't
good.
give you.
I'd much rather
anything.
have the two-piece.
Yeah.
Well, and also, like, we drive Suburbans for the school that we teach at,
Yeah.
and they don't have those.
No.
And you
Chevy.
need them on that.
Yeah. If any vehicle needs them, it is a large Suburban. Yeah.
Oh my God, guys.
feel like we
Guess
should-
what?
So, in summary, I think we can all conclude that one of the highlights is that this car has LED lights, interior lights.
Yeah.
The space, amenities, and of course the LED interior lights begin to make up for the fairly unpleasant driving experience. With only Ted left to drive, will the Ford's exterior styling and price point give it a winning edge?
Yeah. So, what is the price on these?
So the titanium starts at $38,500, I think.
Yep.
And you can get a used one. Well, so you can get a 2018 today for 27, 28-ish with the titanium trim. I still don't know.
The value's not there for me.
Yeah. Again, like the theme of the car, it's fine.
Right.
But I just, you know, I don't know if the proposition really isn't there. Now, I think where it becomes interesting is if you compare it to like the MKC or something like that.
Yeah, right.
Because
Or, this is actually a larger SUV.
yeah, it's bigger than
You know,
we said it was bigger than the Q5, right?
It's definitely bigger than the Q5. So I think if space is what you're after, then
It has a lot of usable space. Like we said,
Yeah.
storage up front. But
Storage is
even the
great.
back is huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trunk space is massive.
Like this is kind of where Ford and Lincoln were still very close in
Right.
quality and buttons and materials and layout. Like there's not a big difference, in my opinion.
But yeah, in 2018, the titanium is probably going to be better than your.
Yeah.
Like, what are you going to get? Like, maybe it'll look a little nicer inside, but it's going to drive the same.
Yeah.
What do you guys think of the
I
exterior?
love this car.
Really?
I love this exterior compared to the original one.
Well, the original one was.
Ugh.
Ugh.
Well, the original
Yeah,
one was
right.
A blob.
Speaking of which.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
That's.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, no, I
But, like,
I think it's fine. I really do like it. Yeah.
I just thought it
I
was
like the
design.
back end. I like how this car looks from the back. I abhor the front. I think it's terrible.
I think it looks.
But I don't like the snub nose. To me, it reminds me too much of the Ford Transit vans. or something.
Interestingly, I think I fall a little bit between you two. I think the front's fine. I like the back a lot.
I've always liked snubby, except for pugs. But
Bulldog.
I don't know. Yeah.
Later on dog reviews.
No, I don't know. I
How
like
about the
it.
wheels? I like the wheels.
They're
I like the
okay.
wheels.
They
I
fit
think
the
they fit the
car.
car.
They're not like, I don't know.
Well, no, I'm not gonna be well. Where can I get some of these?
With a fairly average exterior and a price point a bit too high for what it offers, we are somewhat underwhelmed on this drive. As far as reliability is concerned, the 2-liter EcoBoost is a solid engine, aside from a few known issues primarily due to user error. If you'd like to read more about that, there's a link in the description. In the end, it's really just an okay car. It's fine for what it is, and that's really all we can say. Hey, thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more DIY videos, car reviews, and an upcoming podcast. See you next time.
Man in the streets. Oh, holding a baby. Or is that a dog?
That was
I
a
think it was
dog.
a dog. And
So
it was a
woman,
woman.
and a dog.
Yeah. Man and a baby. Woman and a dog.
But they were in a street.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got that part right. Well done.